Okay, over to you, John. We're live.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Iron and Ceremite podcast. My name is John, as you just heard, and as always, I'm joined by Shane. How are you, mate?
Yeah, I'm good, thank you. Yeah, not too bad.
Good, good. Have you done any hobbying? We've done garden talk off camera. Let's
We
go.
did, although it's slightly adjacent to the channel in that eventually it will be Shed Hammer,
Yeah,
but we'll get back to that in due course. Have I done any hobbying? I actually have. So I finished the 5 infiltrators, so they are now painted and they are locked in, done. They'll be coming out for our battle on Tuesday.
nice.
So they're all painted up. I've then based, or put a base coat, put the spray base coat down on 5 Wolven, so they're ready for a bit of painting. Logan Grimnar, who's part assembled, and I've actually got some paint on him. So I've finished his base. So I've painted the base and I've finished the 2 wolves. I now need to finish him up, and then he'll be good to go. And then I've also got the base coat down on Njal, Aryak, the Wolfguard battle leader, and the Wolf Priest.
Crikey, you've been well busy this week.
Well, but they're only sprayed, right? So
Yeah,
the hard work starts now.
but
Like,
that's a lot ready, like with a layer of paint on it at least.
mm,
Mm.
but you got to get at least 3 colors on it if I want it ready for the London GT,
Yeah,
which is a long way to go, but that will be the plan. And then because after that, I've got my list of stuff to do. So once they're painted, I've then got I should then try and do the head takers because I've got them based, but they're just
yeah,
not painted yet. And then the jump pack intercessors. And then that's the current list. That will be the current list of stuff that I need to do done.
yeah.
But I also now want to add into that the 10 blood claws because I'm still using assault intercessors as blood claws, and I want to use the actual blood claws. And now, because of the detachment updates,
Hmm.
probably 10 grey hunters as well.
Right.
Because now the grey hunters, based on the detachment stuff we saw 2 weeks ago, they actually look like they could be really good depending on how other detachments cost. So I could add that grey hunter one in for the space wolves. You'd be able to run them as 2 squads of 5, which is quite good. Quite a lot of OC knocking
Hmm.
around, causing trouble, or still run them as 1 squad of 10 with Njal, who's quite good with grey hunters if his rules stay the same. So that becomes quite an interesting pairing. Or maybe you could have 5 with Niall and 5 with a Wolf Priest, but I don't know how that split would work. I'd have to, because I don't know how the split rule would work. Anyway, that doesn't matter. But yeah, so there's a lot of hobbying going on there, but it's all the easy early stage hobbying.
Yeah.
The tough stuff I finished with the infiltrators. Next up, it will be I'm trying. It's interesting because with Logan, I'm kind of blending a bit of contrast paint with a bit of normal. So his wolves will be contrast paint, some of his base is contrast paint. That's fine, and then he will just be normal paint style. With the Wolven, the first set of Wolven I had, I did all in contrast paint.
Yeah.
So I am doing the second squad I've got now also all in contrast paint. So at least they kind of match. And it is interesting in that it is so much quicker painting with contrast. I find it so much quicker painting with contrast paint. Even the only thing I really don't like about it is it knackers the brush. The brush just gets
Yeah.
totally destroyed.
Yeah.
And so that's the bit that I find quite tough with using it. It's great for speed, not necessarily, massive on detail, but I suppose it doesn't really matter. Um, but it does just ruin the paintbrush,
Yeah.
which is a bit annoying.
What kind of brush do you use, like proper brushes? Because I just batch buy blue plastic ones off of Amazon.
Yeah, no, I've got a mix of brushes that I quite like,
Yeah.
which tend to be the Army Painter or Citadel ones. So I'm not going for any stupidly expensive ones, but those ones I tend to will just use normal paints with.
Yeah.
And then I have the crap, I say crap. I have like the batch painted ones
Yeah.
Um, like I'll buy the batches off eBay or Amazon or whatever that, you get a decent number of what start out for the first, model or two as pretty decent brushes and then very quickly descend. But that's
Yeah.
fine. That's what they're for. So
Yeah.
they're
Yeah.
the ones that I use with the contrast paint. So they'll get like, they'll start hooking and then they'll start splitting and then before you know it, they're only good for chopping the end off and maybe using them for a dry brush. Like before you finally take the lead. I threw about 4 brushes away this weekend because I was just
Yeah.
like, I don't know why I'm hanging on to these brushes. They're done.
Mine quickly become like basing brushes. So you get the agric surf shade and
Yeah.
scoop them up because they go hard anyway, and they're actually quite good at poking into between people's legs.
Well, that is exactly it, and I would do that, and I do it sometimes, but obviously like all of us when we start the hobby, um, we buy various stupid things, and I bought the Citadel texture tool they've
Oh,
got
okay.
there,
Yeah.
um, which is obviously like it's a waste of money because all it is a little plastic like palette thing, but I've got it, so I use it. It does the job, but it does
Yeah.
exactly the same job as an old knackered brush.
Yeah.
So there's the point: is you don't need one, you just need an old knackered brush.
No. But it's good. It's a good way of like, oh, you're new to the hobby. You want to buy one of these sticks.
Yeah, you need
If
this. It's like,
you go
oh,
out into
great.
your garden, you might find one like it, but buy ours.
Yeah, our one's got the logo on it, and I've got lots of those. So
You have to buy another one now because if Citadel was out of date,
oh, yeah, I need one with Warhammer on it.
yeah, yeah,
I unfortunately, yeah, this the one I've got is the ninth edition texture tool, and we're coming into 11th now, so I
yeah.
can't
So
possibly keep using it.
there's no rules for it.
Yeah, the same as my Citadel paint mug, that is, exactly the same as any other old cup or mug that you might want, but it's got the Citadel logo on it. So
Yeah,
again, that's now out of date. So yeah, all needs replacing at some point.
yeah.
But yeah, so that was my hobbying. What about yourself?
I've done zero hobbying. Because I'm not going to start the auction until Armageddon, like I've said 100 times.
Yeah,
So the closest thing I've done is preparing the turf to get a shed built so we can
shit.
play out. But that's a few weeks away, and then my gaming table has been dispatched, and I'm just waiting for an arrival date. So floor hammers, very very soon, a thing of the past.
The days are numbered.
Yeah, hopefully by the end of the month.
Okay, very
Um,
cool.
but that's it. The most hobbying I've been doing is combat cards.
Yes, well, I saw you. We'll touch on that briefly, but yeah,
Yeah.
flew out the gate like rampant
Oh mate.
up till this point. Like, yeah, we've had a season, was it a couple of seasons ago you did this as well? Came flying
Yeah.
out the gate. Last I looked, you were just over a 5,000 points. You might be a bit more than that now.
Yeah, no, only just. I didn't really play too much over the weekend. I think I just went into Friday just shy of 5,000, and then I've had 2 games since I've been home, so I've just jumped over the 5,000 mark. But yeah,
Right, right.
but I mean, I'm into a rhythm. I don't know what happens.
If
Um,
sometimes you hit those rhythms, and
yeah,
then you can get through it. I think, as I said, if for those that don't play combat cards, it's a iOS or Android app where you like top trumps, but with Warhammer 40K cards. Um, but yeah, now you've got probably the best opportunity because I go on holiday on Friday for a
uh,
week, and that will really limit the amount of playtime I get.
yeah,
So if you're gonna, if you're gonna win a season, this is the season to target.
yeah. And Glenn seems to be lagging at the minute, so just got to keep on top of him.
He does, but he tends to start slow.
Yeah,
And it is a long old season, and once you start losing consistently, it
mm,
becomes much more of a challenge.
yeah. Oh, well. But that is my hobbying for the week. Very little. I haven't even played any games either.
Yeah, it's been a quiet one on that front, hasn't it?
Yeah,
Yeah, like,
we've got a game booked in Tuesday.
yeah, and it's the still the same Space Wolf list actually that I've run the last 3 times. But this time running the, I don't know, is it 3 times? Maybe it's twice. But this time running back to Saga of the Beast Slayer as opposed to the Hunter,
Yeah.
and facing your demony list.
Yeah. I thought I'll give you a break from Poxwalkers for a week at least.
And then, because have you got what you got? Rotigus and the Great Unclean One?
Rogus and the Great Unclean One, they're the big bads. I've got 2 Lords of Contagion, 2 Death Shroud, as always,
Mm.
and a Tallyman. 2 Blobs of Plague Bearers for some sticky objectives.
Yeah,
2 Beasts of Nurgle, because they're great. 3, I know they say Flesh Mowers, but they should say Plague Spitters. I put the wrong, I
right,
sent it and didn't check. So I'm going to
fine.
run 3 with Plague Spitters.
Okay,
Drones, and then 1 heavy blight drone, and then 1 poxwalkers and 1 nurglings. So
fine.
we'll see what happens with that. Should be
Yes,
fun.
it's going to be an interesting one,
Yeah,
as always. As always, a lot, a lot of stuff to chew through.
yeah.
Yeah, we'll see. I don't know if the list has got got the stuff in it to do it, but you never know. So we'll
No,
see what
well,
happens.
we'll see. I think we're a bit back and forth with your Space Wolves at the minute, aren't we? And this is an experimental list. Hopefully, the
Yeah,
demons can stick about.
yeah. This one is so that the current Space Wolf list I'm running is generally it's kind of Marini with some Space Wolf units in it. So
Yeah.
you've got like jump pack intercessors, you've got Terminators rather than Wolf Guard,
Mm.
um, and you've got what's it, intercessors for the backfield, no, not Razorback, Predator, Annihilator, Dreadnought, 2 Dreadnoughts. So the only Space Wolfy things in there are really the Thunderwolf Cavalry, the Blood Claws with Ragnar, the Iron Priest, and I think that's it. I think that's the only specific Space
Yeah.
Wolf actual keyword units. The rest of them are vanilla Marines.
Mm.
But the last couple of times that seems to have done the job.
Does the trick, yeah.
Yeah,
Sadly,
so we'll see.
yeah,
Yeah, the Wolf Guard, when I take him, as I said, unfortunately, I think in almost all matchups, a Wolf Guard blob of 10 with Aryak is a really terrifying unit.
yeah.
But against Death Guard, it just isn't.
No,
So
yeah. I mean, this is why I've got the mowers to catch you out, hopefully, before you can get exposed or just pin you down.
yeah,
Mowers, sprayers.
the sprays. Yeah. So we'll see. As I
Yeah,
said, because I was toying with it, I was like, do I take out like things like the jump pack intercessor and stuff like that? But actually, what you said last time we played just rung in my head, which was like, you know, because they moved so far and they got to where they got to, you had to deal with them,
yeah,
and it
absolutely.
and it meant that it took one of your Death Shroud Terminator units the other side of the board, and
Yeah,
actually, you know, that's great because you either go for that and then I don't have to worry about them, or you're going to let me jump around your backfield with a load of jump pack intercessors.
yeah,
So I think they keep their place just based on that.
yeah, absolutely.
Anyway,
Damn, damn the feedback.
yes.
Yeah.
Um,
Shall we
oh,
do what everyone came for and talk about some 11th,
let's
11th
let's
edition?
let's do it. Let me get my screen changed so we can look at it.
Yeah.
Let's see. So I think
We've had, who did we have? We had Sisters, World
right.
Eaters, Tau, Custodes, and then the only one that really matters is the Death Guard.
Okay, I think there we go. Yeah, sharing away now, so
Mhm.
should be able to see that. So again, as always, when it comes down to this stuff, I've just filtered straight down to the 40K page on Warcom so that we can see it. And as you said, so a few big bits and pieces. As you said, we go back to begin. We had So was it the end of last? Was it? Yeah, maybe that would have been the Chaos one.
Yeah, the first one was Sisters on Monday.
Yeah. So we had the Adeptus Sororitas. Then we had the World Eaters. Yeah. Then the Tau,
Yeah.
Custodes, big one, Death Guard. There's a few big calls there on what that actually looks like.
Yeah.
And then obviously the Q&A. The Q&A was fairly big.
Yeah, it's pretty good. I thought I managed to watch it today when I got home.
Yeah, I thought they did a pretty good job.
Yeah, they've like cleared a few things up. Obviously, only told us what they want to tell us, which is fine because that's going to keep us watching. If they spill everything,
Yeah,
it was fairly revealing. But
yeah, it was pretty
obviously,
good.
we burnt an hour and 20 minutes on two. So, do you want to click through the detachments and we'll just pick up on the key points until we get to the Death Guard, which is the best one?
Yes, all right, fine. Let's do that. So starting with the sisters, key points were right. Before we go into their own specific thing, what
Yeah,
I think was what we missed or not missed, we maybe spent too much time on was or just getting to the point where we find the specific rules
yeah,
that are new, right?
yeah.
So, sorry, I'm just going to set up my screen sharing so that we're sharing the right stuff. Right, let's go content only. Okay, fine. Right, so with the sisters, my memory serves correct. It was all very sister stuff. There wasn't
Yeah, I
anything
don't
that
think
was
there was any like rule reveals or anything other than that.
no, no. It was the usual sort of stuff, right? So
Yeah,
a couple of detachments. It all looks all good. Neither of us are sister players. Obviously, anyone in the chat who plays sisters, Glenn would be good to talk about
yeah.
sisters, but unfortunately isn't with us today. It all seems fairly good.
No, it's just another one of the examples of saying like that first detachment is a condemned detachment, so you can't run more than one. So
Yeah,
there's obviously more of that sticking around. But I think that was probably the only talking point for sisters. Unless you're a sisters player, then there's probably loads we're not
there's loads
talking
in
about.
there. I think it looks all right.
Yeah.
Then we had the World Eaters.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, like lot,
Horrible.
lots of nasty stuff,
Yeah,
like detachment. So onslaught detachments, all of that. Again, hints of how much battle shock is going to change. As the battle shock becomes a bit more impactful. Um, but cleave, this was the big one, right? With the
yeah,
reveal of what cleave is actually going to do and what it's actually going to look like. So enhancement wise, obviously you've got the Mauler Fiend unit only. Mauler Fiend fists have cleave 2. You're like, okay, so we know that the cleave is going to have multiple X's, and then you've actually got the written rule.
yeah,
So they described it on one of their streams as blast, but for combat, but it's a little bit more nuanced than that. But it is pretty much that in
yeah,
terms of how it works. So the ability takes the form of cleave, X number. Each time you gather attack dice for a cleave weapon, if you only select one target, so you can only select one target, for all of that weapon's attacks, you add X additional attack dice for every 5 models that were in the target in the select target step, rounding down. So the same as blast in that regard. So for example, if you have a cleave 1 weapon with an attack characteristic of 3 and targets 1 unit containing 16 models, you would gather 3 additional attack dice for that weapon for a total
yeah,
of 6 for that weapon. Now, interestingly, this is per weapon. So if you've got a unit or a character or something like that that's got 2 weapons as opposed to 1 weapon that they're splitting the attacks, but
mm-hmm.
like 2 weapons. So I don't know, like a extra attacks or something like that, something where it comes up where they might have 2 like
Yeah,
specific things. You could pick more than 1 unit and still get cleave on one of those units. But I think the interaction is that you've got to put all your attacks into one thing to
yeah,
really get the bonus for cleave.
yeah.
but like cleave two, for example, becomes really nasty.
That's massive.
Cleave anything more than one becomes quite nasty, right?
Yeah, because I can't think of any examples of blast two or blast more than one. Can you? Because blast is just blast as far as I'm aware.
Yeah, blast is just blast.
Yeah, so that's horrific.
Unless blast is also changing.
Mm.
And I would imagine that there will be more ways, because as I said, I think it depends how they handle cleave, right? Is it going to, because I know they said they're not going to change data sheets, but once codexes come out, so for example, right now, Mortarian, for example, he's got a sweep and a strike
Strike. Yeah.
profile. Once the codex comes out, if they then change the data sheet, it might be that he doesn't have a sweep and a strike. He just has a strike, but it
Yeah.
has cleave.
Mm.
So therefore, if you're attacking, like a big squad of 10 Marines or something, cleave kicks in. So you don't need to be like strike or
Yeah. Yeah,
sweep.
makes
You just
sense.
go, well, it doesn't matter. I just picked the one anyway, and it's got cleave. So
Yeah.
I'm now going to do loads more attacks to an infantry unit.
Mm.
Maybe. I don't know. We'll have
Yeah.
to see.
Yeah, no, but the reasoning is sound.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we will see. But it's quite a nice rule though.
Hmm.
So we'll have to see where it comes from. I'm sure there will be lots of strats and upgrades and things like that in other. Yeah, like there we go. Detachment rules. Friendly Wieldy's character is selected to fight. That unit's character models can have cleave one or +1 AP.
Yeah.
So makes sense. So that the Weldy is a fairly good detachment or faction, should I say, to show off cleave. I think that
Yeah,
makes a lot of
massively.
sense.
Yeah.
So we'll see how that all transpires. But it makes sense. It's just quite nice for punchy units, right?
Oh yeah, yeah.
So that was them. Obviously, we also talked about the runner campaign in a weekend with the Dominatus deck. We'll come back to that. That's one of the decks that's in the Armageddon box set that allows you to run the you effectively have 3 battles and you can turn them into a campaign.
Yeah.
I can see that actually getting a bit of use. I actually can see that happening. Like if you think about how frequently, me and you play, for example, you could get that done in a month, whereas you wouldn't do it now. You just like,
Yeah.
let's run a campaign and see what happens.
I've even seen a couple of well, specifically Gothic games in Canterbury. I've even seen him talking about doing something on the tournament scene like that, which would
Or
be interesting.
if you're going down there for an RTT where you're going to be playing 3 games anyway,
Yeah.
there's a way you could do it where again it could quite, especially if you do them thematically as well. So like Games Workshop themselves, they've run events where you play as one of 2 factions and then you submit your results and it then determines what happens in the narrative.
Yeah.
There are quite cool ways that people could be doing that, so that will be quite interesting.
Yeah, definitely.
I'll want to give it a go. Like I
Oh
think
yeah,
it's cool.
absolutely. I'm sure we can. If we get lucky one day, we could probably even do one in a day or over a
Oh, I
weekend or
reckon.
something.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah,
Could be a good way, a good thing for the shed.
absolutely. Yeah, yeah. Campaign shed.
Right,
You're just gonna have to
Tau.
come and move into my shed.
Well, that's it. I just sleep under the table at night.
Wake up,
uh,
I'm gonna play.
yeah. Right,
Okay.
Tau Empire.
Yeah.
Usual jazz. Like, yeah, there's a lot of stuff there to help them.
Detect
Not,
stuff, isn't it, for
yes,
these guys?
because that's what well we'll come into it with the Q&A. There was one
Yeah.
bit in the Q&A where they sort of said like, so does what's that say? Usually free to tap. Does like is shooting back? I can't remember the exact word for
They
it.
said, does shooting suck now?
Yeah, exactly. And I think their answer was no, it doesn't. But kind of like I feel like it put a lot of emphasis on, you've really got to make sure you shoot stuff that is running across the battlefield towards you.
They said, yeah, set up your firing lanes and point adjustments will be made. So
Yes.
I think you're going to be running. Tower might be becoming a horde army.
Or yeah, or it will be. as I said, because well, that's because they've also confirmed that in the Armageddon box, the points are going to be about 750.
Yeah.
So there's about 750 points worth of stuff in there. So whether you use that, because I'm sure someone like Auspex has probably already looked at Auspex tactics. But if you tried to work it out, you'd be like, okay, because what you probably find is that melee units
Mm.
are going to go up in cost. So Tau might not become Horde because they won't get
They'll
many
stay the
more,
same.
but the people you're fighting against are going to get less
Yeah.
if they go heavy into really nasty
Mm.
fighty stuff.
Yeah.
So it might work, and we'll find out pretty quickly if it doesn't because they'll just have to drop loads of balance updates.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Right, this one I am going to touch on this one. Color or surprise. This one came out of the blue. Like I
Yeah.
had no idea that this was coming out. Um, and I'm all for it.
Yeah. Definitely. 100%.
Like I say, I caveat that I'm all for it. I'm all for it in principle. We'll have to see how much more they charge you for painted versus unpainted.
Yeah.
Um, just because I like, I'm getting painted, like it takes me long enough to paint anything anyway. I do not want to be spending time painting terrain. So if
No.
they're going, if they're going to paint it or print it or whatever it is that they do to it, that's fine. I'm cool with that. Like let's give that a go.
Yeah. No. 100%. If it's not an absolute rip off, and you can buy a box to get you a 2K game, enough terrain for a 2K game, I'm all for it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Especially if it's painted.
I do think it is that's the caveat is
Yeah.
how much is it actually going to cost us? And
Yeah.
that's the bit that will probably be a bit little bit upsetting, but
Yeah.
we'll wait and see.
Yeah. I don't want to have to buy like 3 containers in one box and then a, a radioactive tower in another box. So one box set at not too much of an extortionate price, and it'd be all right.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, very true. Right. The Adeptus Custodes.
The
Again,
10,000.
not necessarily factoring too much in their rules, but the rule that was dropped with them for everyone else was was
Crushing
this one, wasn't it?
impacts.
Crushing impact.
Yes.
Um, so new tank shock. Um,
Interesting. Spicy for both people involved.
so crushing impact just is the new name for tank shock. So that is
Mm.
definitely what it is. That's what tank shock is. Which is great that now it's vehicles and monsters.
Yeah.
So that's good that monsters can do it. Brilliant. There's your toughness. Away you go. Um, you roll a number of d6 equal to the toughness characteristic. So nice and normal so far. But then for every one, you suffer a mortal wound. And for every 5+, the enemy unit suffers a mortal wound, up
Mhm.
to a maximum of 6 mortal wounds per unit.
Yeah. And that's going to be for both sides, isn't it? You're not going to be able to do yourself more than 6, surely.
No, I think that's exactly it. I think
Yeah.
it's up to a maximum of 6.
Yeah.
I think this. I don't know why they did this.
Because, like I've been saying, they want you to get to the end of the game with less than one model each.
But
They
I
want
don't
you.
know. Yeah, I just I
I think.
don't.
I think it's one of those things where it's where they've taken where a lot of strats are like, I'm saving this to do this strat. So like with Overwatch, now it's at one point of the game, it's at the end of the movement phase, you either do it or you don't, and then it's gone because they don't want all this gaming stuff. It's the same with Tank Shock because how many times you're like, going to try and get this charge off, going to try and get this charge off, I'm going to hold this tank because then I can come in, do a load of mortal wounds, and if you've only got a small unit there and you manage to do 6 and wipe it, at least this way there's a chance that if your tank is on 4 wounds, then you have to really think about, am I going to charge this in to clear this unit because it could backfire and I could blow myself up and not get the point as well. So it's
Yeah,
just to make you like really have to commit to saying, is this the right thing I want to do?
That's what I mean, that's exactly my point. I think you'll just see this used like not anywhere near as much.
No, if your tank is on 6 wounds, you're taking a good risk of charging in, because if you're on 7 wounds, absolutely fine, because you know you're not going to die.
I mean,
Yeah,
I'm like already looking at it. I'm thinking like, when am I doing this? I'm doing it with vehicles that I might have that are that where I've got my tech priest or iron priest
yeah.
nearby, so I can heal them up should it happen.
Feel no pains.
I'm doing it if I'm thinking Necron.
Yeah,
I'm doing this all of my shards because they're monsters. At least
yeah,
they were. They are now all doing this
yeah,
because now before they weren't able to do it. Now
yeah,
they can do it, and they've got
and
feel no pains.
and get their wounds back.
Exactly. And
Yeah,
then if I'm a Necron vehicle, I'm doing it as well
that's
because
made. Oh,
again,
yeah. I didn't even
so
think about shards. That's made them disgusting. Well,
well
already disgusting.
they'll definitely get like they're very expensive. They might get more nerfs. We don't know what the shard will look like in the new edition,
Yeah,
but if it stayed exactly as it does now with this,
yeah,
that is like, yeah, I don't mind risking it on a shard because
mm,
I've got the chance for my feel no pain,
mm.
and I've then got the chance to bring wounds back. I might be doing it like it might also be a clutch moment, like again thinking Space Wolves for Bjorn because he's got his feel no pain. So
Yeah.
again, anyone with a feel no pain that kind of
You've
makes
got
it
you've got
much.
to give it a go. Like Morty's doing it all the time,
Yeah, of course. If
but
anything, it makes.
Morty doesn't ever save his fucking feel no pain. So
But again, if you're Mortarian, doesn't.
yeah,
But this makes him much better.
yeah, 100%. Yeah,
Like this is
that's
much better
curious. Yeah.
because again, he can't do it now. He will be able to do it because he's a monster.
Mm.
Um, and he's got his feel no pain, so he's just again, it's more worth the risk, right?
Yeah, yeah. It makes sense as well. Like, it depends what you're driving into narratively, because if you drive a tank into a load of Marines, okay, you just got to imagine that you've accidentally set off their melter bombs by
Yeah,
running them over. If you drive a tank into a tank, there's a fair chance that you're taking some damage. So it sort of makes sense there.
yeah. I think it will be where it will really hurt, and this is going to happen. Is you roll your dice and you get like you do roll like a load of ones
Yeah.
and like no fives and sixes, and you end up doing more damage to yourself than you do to the enemy.
Yeah, that's
And you're
gonna
like,
happen.
why have I bothered with this?
That's gonna be like I'm going home moment.
Yeah, and it will happen.
Because like although you can't help it sometimes when like we both do it when like the air just leaves your body because you're like, what the fuck?
Yeah,
that was supposed to absolutely wipe him, and I've just wiped myself. And the
yeah,
worst for me when you don't even blow up it as well.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
You
yeah.
don't get your daily demise.
And that it's all going to happen.
Yeah,
That is going to be a string of stuff that happens. You're going to be like, why? What? This is no.
yeah. I
So
think it's fun. I do think it's fun. I think we're probably both going to come away fair few times upset, but I do think it's a fun change.
yeah, I mean, I was never a big tank shocker anyway.
You've become more of a tank shocker.
I think it's just because I remember to do it. Like I
Yeah,
never used to remember. Same as grenades. Both of
yeah,
those, this and grenades. I'm like, I always forget to do it. Trouble is again against Death Guard, it's really useful because it's mortal wounds.
yeah,
So and like it bypasses all of the toughness stuff. So
yeah.
it becomes really important to do. We will
Absolutely.
see. But yeah, core stratagem. So yeah, a good
Nice.
one, good reveal. I don't know if there are any other core strat. No, that's all specific. But yeah, custodes being custodes. Um, did we miss any of the core strats? We didn't miss core strats of any of the others, did we?
No, I don't think so. Um, but I've screenshotted because there was loads the questions for the Q&A just so we can pick up on any of the interesting points.
All right. Well,
We'll do Death Guard first.
let's get into it then.
Yeah.
So interestingly, I didn't. So again, there's almost been too much Warhammer for me to handle.
Yeah.
So I've been like waiting for Auspex Tactics to tell me what I should look at. So it's great from that point of view. I think it was this morning, it might have been yesterday. I saw like maybe it was Saturday. Yeah, it would have been yesterday, yes. Saw his latest video, Death Guard best faction reveal so far. And
Is
I
that what
was
he
like,
said?
yeah, my head dropped and I was like, oh no, what have they done? What have they done? Like,
Yeah.
is this going to be like, again,
It's
far too brutal?
it's annoying because I obviously, yeah, at the end of last week's episode, Ben said, "Oh yeah, they've said next week is Sisters and Death Guard." So I expect it to be Monday or Tuesday. They didn't drop this till because I went away for the
It's
weekend.
Friday, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was like I literally went away. They dropped it about 10 minutes before we got in the car. So I had a really quick look at it, and then obviously I messaged you guys. I was like, "Yes, please."
Yeah.
But then
And
I've
then
only read it properly since like I've been home and watched the Q&A. But Contagion Engines is awesome.
yeah, I'm not overly happy about it, if I'm honest. So yeah, I so what was interesting about it, as I said, Contagion engines, yeah, very nice. The bits that I like on this, or not Death Guard specific, but you see it in a lot of other reveals that they've done, where they've got this sentence at the bottom,
Yeah.
which you can see is this detachment has the engines tag and cannot be taken with another engines detachment,
Mm-hmm.
which lends me to believe that in the Death Guard release,
Yeah.
whatever that is, there will be more than one engine detachment.
Yeah. So we've got like Mortarian's hammer at the moment, which is the one we've got, which is driving through walls and stuff.
Yeah,
So yeah, that will clearly be the other engines one.
yeah. So you get this one's contagion engines, and then
Yeah.
so you get all of the floaty drones
Mm-hmm.
effectively. So bloat drone with blight launcher. There's the
So
bloat drone.
that's going to
Oh,
cover the spitters and the mowers in one.
and the mowers. Yeah.
Yeah.
Then the blight launcher. Then the hell brute, which is nice.
Interesting. Yeah.
Yeah. And then Mephitic blight hauler all get contagion
Contagion engine.
engine.
They haven't put the plague burst crawler on there.
I did notice that. I
But the
was like,
plague burst crawler is artillery, isn't it? It's not supposed to be barreling up the field, I
I
suppose.
mean, I suppose is it because of the demon engine
But
and
it is, but it is a demon engine.
but it's more like a tank, isn't it?
Yeah, but
Like it's
it's
a bit
got the
more. It's a
demon
bit
engine
more.
keyword. So, but obviously, like I said, you're not necessarily going to assault a artillery cannon at people, are you?
Yeah, I think it's more. Maybe I think these ones all look like they're demony because they've got
Yeah.
all their
Oh,
organic
yeah.
and
Okay.
stuff.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah.
Whereas your the what's it called?
Yeah, it does just look like a normal
It's just
tank, doesn't it, with
it's
a
just a
cow grate on it.
yeah, and it's the same as like you don't have your predator, you don't have anything else in here,
No,
so that might be where they're changing it. Anyway,
I think the Hellbrute is an interesting addition to it, and it might. Because I haven't run it once this
this
edition.
edition,
I've only got one, and I haven't really equipped it optimally. But yeah, anyway, carrying on.
yes. So we do know that there'll be more than one thingy detachment. Obviously, they all get assault,
Yeah.
which is really because they again. I'm assuming the rules will stay the same, but they're going to get then fallback advance. What do they get? Fallback and
The drones have fullback, shoot, and charge.
yes.
The bloat drones do. Nothing else does. But it's still that's handy.
Yeah, but
Getting
that on top of assault as well, like it just means you're really going to be
yeah,
motoring up the board like at a
yeah.
frightening pace, really. So yeah, it's quite tasty. And
This
then
enhancement's really nice as well.
yes, this is a unit upgrade, isn't it? So
Yeah.
that's an enhancement, part one of the unit upgrade things. So contagion engine unit
Hmm.
only. When this unit has one model in this unit heals D3 wounds. So if you could put it on a single, if you're running a hauler on its own, you could put it
Yeah.
on that. But you could also then go, do you know what, I'm going to run three haulers because you
Yeah.
can have them up to three, right?
Yeah.
and then
And
you
you don't
put
even
this
need to
on there.
score a hit. You just need to fight.
Yeah, and you put that on there, or you could run like two flesh mowers because
Yeah.
they're gonna want to get into fighting,
Yeah.
and
Absolutely.
then suddenly that's real nasty.
Yeah. Especially if you don't manage to kill it, like when you fight back as well. That's just going to
Look,
be.
that's why if you're running
Pain.
two of them,
Mm.
like you run them as two as a unit, you're just going to have that extra amount of wounds. That means you're
Yeah.
always going to be healing.
That,
So
I like that.
pretty nasty. And then for the detachment, you also get the one stratagem shown off. So um, shooting phase, friendly contagion engine selected to shoot that contagion engine unit. Select one visible enemy unit. That enemy unit is afflicted
Yeah.
until your unit has attacked.
Yeah.
That's pretty good.
Yep. So you
Just
stick it on a blight hauler that wants to shoot a tank.
yeah, and then suddenly
You're
its toughness
afflicted while
goes
it's shooting
down.
at you. So
Yeah.
that's quite nice.
So
Or a mower that's just out of contagion range on some infantry. Really
yeah,
nice.
yeah, very yeah, very nasty. Very
And this
very
one's interesting that they're changing flyblown host because at the minute it isn't. This was the one from the index.
the
Uh,
fly blown. It wasn't the Grotmus one, was it? It was
no,
the
this was just our index when we got the additional one at the start before the codex come out.
yeah.
So yeah, they're just changing what it does basically. But
So what does it do right now?
right now, flyblown host, Death Guard infantry units, excluding poxwalkers that are not embarked within a transport, have Scout 5 and Stealth. That's what flyblown host does now. But now it's changing.
For some reason I thought this was the Grotmus one that you got,
Uh,
but
I mean, it might be because we had obviously the normal one. That was the additional one that I ran quite a lot.
yeah, I quite liked it. I thought it
Yeah,
was like suddenly you've got like loads of like plague marines and terminators because they're infantry as well. But
that's
plague
that.
marines,
That's how I managed to slingshot like a squad of 10 Blight Lords across the board one game because
yeah,
we had the 6-inch piling or
yeah.
consolidate move.
So so anyway, that's what it
Yeah.
was. So you get loads of that. Now
Hmm.
it changes. You can select up to two friendly plague marines units. The plague marines units that because the terminators don't have plague marines,
No,
do
no,
they?
it's
By the
just
sound
it's
of it.
just plague
So
marines.
it is just your plague marines now.
Just plague marines.
Those units have infiltrators,
Yeah.
and the detachment is gets the fly blown keyword. Again, assuming then that there will be another fly blown detachment,
Yeah. So
which I
that
thought
might
was
even be
interesting.
like, I don't know, poxwalkers maybe.
Could be,
Interesting.
could be, but that's the bit I was like, oh, okay, that means again, is there going to be more than one, or does it just open up the door for more in the future?
Yeah, yeah.
Um, I suppose the difference is right now your fly blown host affects like well I say affects it would have it is your whole army rule, right?
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
because you can only have one detachment, and so you're going to build your army in that manner,
Mm.
whereas this is only going to cost you one
Yeah.
detachment point. So depending on what other detachment points you're taking, it might just be like because you could have this and your what's it called contagion engines,
Yeah.
like that's two that we
That's
know of,
horrific. Isn't it? And can
and
you
then
imagine as well? Because I'm assuming you can do this with characters attached. So you think there's no more need for a fun bus because they're already there.
yeah
10 plague marines with a malignant plague caster and a putrefier giving me sustained and crits of 5 just waiting outside of your deployment zone.
yeah
Or alternatively, stood there with bubotic and heavy weapons.
well or just the amount it can do like in
Yeah,
terms of they're going to wait in this ruin just outside this
outside of
terrain
15
feature,
inches.
or
Yeah,
even it doesn't even matter, right? Because
no,
you can put them in the terrain feature and they'll be hidden,
yeah,
and they'll just be like, well, that's mine because I've now got 20 OC on it.
yeah,
Um, come and shift it
yeah.
like that. Pretty brutal.
That's nice.
So then enhancement again upgrade. Plague Marine unit. When this unit attacks targets within contagion range, those attacks reroll wounds of 1. Nice and easy.
Yeah.
Might be good to have because I'm assuming some of the other enhancements might go away, so that makes sense.
Yep.
And then one of your stratagems.
This had a big keyword confirmation, the close quarters.
Well, this is it here,
Yeah.
which we'll read through. So detachment-wise, the stratagem is your shooting phase. When a friendly Plague Marines unit is selected to shoot, that unit, their ranged attacks have close quarters.
Yeah.
And what is close quarters? It's the new name for pistol.
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise, it works the same as you remember. So units containing one or more models with close quarters can shoot using close quarters shooting. When using another shooting type, for each model in that unit, you can select one of the following to take attacks with. So you can either so effectively, you can fire your pistol or you can fire your other ranged weapons. This strat gives all of your weapons the pistol keyword effectively. Yeah. So if that squad of 10 that you infiltrated is now in combat and you're like, I really just want to thin the unit I'm in combat with, you drop the strat and then you're firing all of your normal weapons into combat. And that's really, that's not fair.
It's horrific as well because it's rarely ever bolt guns, is it? Like it's Plague Marines
all sorts of
have all specialist weapons. It's that is a very, very powerful. I mean, obviously, it's a very powerful strat.
Very
powerful. Especially if you get in with something and you just don't kill as many as you needed to. Or I'll be like, okay, I'll pick up my couple of guys with some melee weapons because I'm just going to shoot you instead.
Yeah, I mean the utility you have here is quite nasty. So again, gives you a lot of freedom for playing around. I think with the units you can make up, because then you don't necessarily need to make that decision about, okay, is it Plague Marines with sticks or is it Plague Marines with guns?
Yeah.
You can be a bit more one way or the other and they're still going to be pretty nightmarish in combat.
Yeah.
Okay, then Paragons of Putrescence.
Mm-hmm.
So this is the one really going into your Death Guard characters. So detachment rules: friendly Death Guard character units have +3 to their contagion range.
Ooh.
To a maximum of 12. So you could run all 3 of these for 3 points.
Mm.
And that means you've got your infiltrating Plague Marines led by characters spitting out contagion range even further than they would do already.
Yeah.
They're right in the middle of the battlefield. And if you do charge them and fight them and they don't die, they're going to be firing all of their weapons back into you. And then while that's all happening, you've got plague engines advancing all around you.
Yeah.
Boo! Boo!
That's terrible. No. I'm bummed.
Yeah. Enhancement. So standard enhancement, this one. So interesting though. Death Guard infantry model only. So once per battle, per army, in your command phase, you can use this ability. If you do, select one of the plagues. So this is like one of the...
It's like Death Lord's Chosen, yeah. No, Champions of Contagion, sorry.
That's the one, yeah. But you get it on one unit.
Just do it the once.
Who's the Lord of... Is it the Lord of Poxes? Didn't he have something like this?
Lord of Poxes, in that, you can add an extra thing to him for the whole game.
Yeah.
So you can run him with 2. And then obviously if I kill a character in combat, then I basically get all 3 of them for the whole game.
Yeah.
So this is just like a diluted
mini version of
that, which is like pull the emergency because now I'm no longer worrying about cover. Now I'm going to change your save as well as your and ignore make it +1 to hit me and stuff. So it's quite good. It's quite nice. It's a bit of a niche one because a lot of the times I find with Champions of Contagion, the characters I add these enhancements to normally get killed before they get a chance to pop them off.
This is true.
It's a tricky one. If you're a better player than I am, I'm sure you're gonna have a great time with it.
I suppose it all depends on whether or not you're. I suppose one of them, like it's an enhancement, right? So you
Yeah,
don't have to pay the points for it. The detachment might be enough in itself.
yeah, yeah.
And then the strat that you get with it, shooting phase, friendly Death Guard character, select one enemy unit within contagion range. That enemy unit has +6 detection range. So you
Mm,
just detection goes up a lot further.
yeah.
So a lot more things can shoot it if they can see it.
Hmm.
All right.
But
Seems
I think
okay.
they're for yeah, that sounds right. But I think the top two are definitely the better two. The
Yeah.
bottom's fine. So it depends. Like if there's not anything better to run, why would you not just run it? Because again, like they said in the Q&A, if you don't use your detachments points, you lose it. You don't get any benefit for not taking free. So why not stick another squad with the weaker one on there? Because it might
Yeah.
do your favour.
Well, I suppose that's it. It's like because it will be interesting to see, and that's one of the things that we're still waiting to get clarity on, right?
Mm.
It will be interesting to see, like, for all of the factions we play, but what Death Guard detachments are going to be free. So, we know, well, we don't know, widely thought that like Space Marines Gladius
Yeah.
likely to be a 3 point detachment.
Hmm.
The reason being is that it affects all the units. It makes sense that that would be a 3 point detachment. I don't know because these are like almost taken some of the ones you've got right now and changed them,
Yeah.
so then they would become 1 point detachments. So what else do you have would then become 3 point? I suppose the sticky objective one.
I think out of the codex, that's probably the only one that's guaranteed to be free because sticky objectives is pretty powerful. But other than that, I mean, the Poxwalker one, maybe that could be free just because you're getting 3 squads of Poxwalkers on top. Uh,
Yeah, I
that's
don't
quite
know.
that's
Don't
quite a
know.
nice utility, but that could still just be two.
I mean, it could even be one if they rewrite it slightly because it's again, what they said it's like if you've got a detachment that's going to affect like all of your units, that's
Yeah,
going to be the one that costs lots of money,
yeah,
lots of points. And if you've got one that only affects like one or a few, the
hmm,
Poxwalker one really only affects Poxwalkers.
yeah. But it
So
does
that
make them battle line. Does let me take a hell of a lot of
it depends.
Poxwalkers.
I suppose it depends whether they tweak it. And
Yeah.
maybe it is too. We haven't had any examples of what a two would look like yet, though, have we?
No, not yet. They've all been these little one attachment ones.
But
Just quick question because you might have missed it. The three that we're getting per
yeah.
focus, that's all we're getting from launch, isn't it? They're not. These aren't just free of say six. These all these faction focuses when it goes live. These are just the three additional plus the codex.
I thought it was. I know. I think these are just the ones they're previewing.
Oh, really? So there's more.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Because I think it's, as they said, like everything you've got now, all of the detachments we've got now,
Hmm.
we've got them,
Yeah.
right? But there may be some examples here, like Flyblown Host, for example, where they've rewritten it.
Yeah.
So you won't get Flyblown Host as you've got now, you'll get the new one.
Yeah. Get the new one. Yeah. Yeah.
So I think that where maybe they won't, like as I said, maybe they won't rewrite all of them, but they'll just give them detachment points.
Yeah. Okay.
Um, then when you get the codex, that's when we'll see the real change. And we
Yeah.
know we'll come onto it now. We know with the Q&A that the so it was a pretty good Q&A, but we know with the Q&A stuff, um, it's Space Marines and Orcs first,
Hmm.
codex wise,
Yeah.
and then we don't know after that.
I thought it was quite funny when because when they said when they read that question, it said, "What are the first codexes?" And I was like, "What a waste of a question!" Because we know it's going to be Space Marines and Orcs. And they went, "Oh, next question. What's going to be the third codex?" And he went, "Yeah, the one after."
Yeah,
All right, that's clever. That's annoying, but it's a clever answer.
yeah. Then yeah, I mean they're never going to tell us, right?
No, absolutely.
Even if they did, even if they did know.
Yeah. They were, yeah,
Um,
it's clever. Like I said at the start, they knew what they wanted to say. They've skipped out a few questions, and what they did tell us was quite interesting.
yes, indeed,
Yeah.
indeed. Um, so for the Q&A, obviously
Mm.
that was the next part that we think you said you'd noted down a few to
I've basically
cover
just
off.
taken the screenshot. So like, I mean, I'll blast through them if you have anything you want to add to it. So they said obviously they're going to sell the ready painted. Someone asked, "Are you going to sell already painted models?"
Yeah, I did hear that when they said that. And I was like,
No, you got to
I
get
think,
that commissioned.
yeah, that would be a real bold step.
Yeah.
At
Who
what
will be
point
the
do they
next
go?
returning loyalist Primarch was quite interesting because they said they're all dead.
They did again. I think that's like I think that's them just
Yeah.
you know they're
The,
not they're never going to answer that one, right?
no. Yeah.
They're like, oh, they're all dead, and then they were like, oh, but they could come back in tank form, and it's like, okay, right, fine,
Yeah.
right.
Sure. Yeah.
What they're never going to say that one, so fine, move on.
Legends are still being supported,
Yeah,
which is
but what was good about this is it's now in the app,
yeah.
so that's actually quite nice because
Mm.
when they inevitably, kick a load of other, stuff into Legends, which they will, at least you can still get it in the app and you can still play with those models. If you're playing friendly games and not
Yeah.
tournament games and stuff like that, it's still not going to be balanced and it's still eventually just going to become defunct. But at least you've got that support for a little bit longer.
Yeah. They confirmed the changes to Battle Shock, which I like
Yeah,
because it's now not below half; it's half,
on half. Yeah,
which is big because the only example I've got is free Death Shroud and Lord of Contagion.
yeah,
You kill two Terminators, they're taking Battle Shock where they normally
yeah,
wouldn't.
yeah. I
Um,
actually quite like that change. I thought
yeah,
that
yeah, it makes sense, doesn't it?
like well, they're again should should that have been what Battleshock was anyway? Don't know. Like, but it
Probably.
feels like that they're making it much more an important factor. Like, so you're going
Yeah,
to be taking it more often. You're going to be like once you're battle shocked.
yeah. It
Like you
doesn't
got to
just
keep
fall off. You've got
you got
to
to
you've
yeah
got to roll it. Yeah,
you got to keep testing, and then insane bravery because that was the bit that I was like, oh, they made that point. Insane bravery becomes a really like depending on when you won't be able to use it as
yeah,
much as you would before because you're like, well, no, they're still battle shocked.
yeah,
So
exactly. And we do that all the time. We go right. He's not Battle Shock now. It's my turn. I'm going to pay that because I need. Well, yeah, that's gone. So
yeah,
that is a good change. Like Battle because Battle Shock hasn't felt that bad. When it goes off and you're like, no, I'm Battle Shocked and I've failed that. That's annoying, but it
yes,
doesn't happen a lot. And
no,
now it is gonna like, it's gonna be a problem.
yeah. Well, it will change a lot of the interactions. Again, but probably more narrative. So it's fine, but it will
Especially
be
when
interesting to
you've
see.
charged a dreadnought and crush an impact and fucked yourself
Yeah,
and then failed Battle Shock. Yeah,
yeah, yeah, yeah, yeah,
yeah.
absolutely.
And when he
Yeah,
was supposed to go and hold an objective, and it all just crumples horribly.
yeah. That will happen. That will
Yeah.
happen a lot.
Um, that one's not that exciting. Multi parts. Death Watch is still an army, but they're
Yeah,
just not getting a faction focus. But so
I, d- I don't know whether they're going to be able to get all the factions done anyway, right?
they might just have to start releasing more than one a day.
Well, I mean, we're rumored that we may even get the pre-order at some point in May.
Yeah,
I
end of the month they
still,
said, didn't they?
yeah, that's what I mean. Like, there's
Mm.
rumors going around it could be the end of the month. So, I mean, maybe they will get all of the factions out. We'll see.
We've done 10. How many are there? 20.
22,
I think they can
21?
do it.
Yeah, fair enough.
A Grey Knight's still an army. Thankfully for Glenn, yes, they are.
Yeah,
Demons still much the same. They're getting the same support. They get an extra faction, I think they said, or an extra detachment.
yeah. I
You can
wonder if
still
they
play
get.
them as you do.
Ah, that's it. And they're not getting a codex, but they are going to be featured in the codexes of the
the demon legions, Death
Yeah,
Guard,
you got
etc.
all of the faction. Yeah, 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 yeah.
Yeah, much the same. That runt herds, you can still run runt herds. I don't know why I screenshot that one.
I
They're
think
gonna,
it's interesting because it's like I suppose the point of the runt herds piece is you whereas right now you need to run a runt herd, I think you
mm,
now don't need to run a
yeah,
runt herd. So I don't know if that's going to come with additional or less points or whatever, but yeah, you don't have to run one.
no. So they're going to drop a battle report before the edition's live anyway, because that's going to drop at the end of the month. So
Yeah,
we'll actually get to see what they want to show us of the game, because
how it
they
plays.
hold stuff back. Um, yes, we'll see points changes, but not anything too drastic. By the way, I read between
Yeah,
the lines of what they said.
it said you'd still get roughly the same number of units.
Hmm.
So we'll see. I think it'll probably be like if you're. I suppose it also depends how you build your army, right?
Yeah,
Like you could probably get less units if you build your army in a very specific way because you're leaning into the very high cost stuff. But then I bet in the new edition, less units is probably not so good, and you want a bit of extra like meat on the table, as it were.
yeah. Uh, do cover and stealth stack? No, they don't,
Yeah,
which is
that was
fine.
interesting. Yeah,
Yeah,
good that it was clear. Effectively, I like the way they explained that as well.
yeah,
Like if you've got stealth, it means you're so stealthy that it's like you're in cover. I was
yeah.
like, okay, yeah, fine, makes sense.
Lots, yeah, which is fine. Um, any changes to falling back out of combat, desperate escape? There is, isn't there? You won't lose a model now. It's just gone down to one mortal wound for every fail. I think they said,
Yes.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah. So rather than rolling on a one or two in a desperate escape, you would lose models.
yeah,
Now it's mortal wounds. Yeah. So, and that I suppose is also more important because I guess the reason they probably made that change is because they're expecting more units to be battle shocked.
yeah,
So you're going to have to be taking more desperate escapes. So because of that, they're like, well, actually killing models is probably a bit too big,
mm,
but taking wounds makes that risk a bit more acceptable.
yeah. Blah, blah, blah. No, just a lot of people kept asking the same question about who's on Armageddon at the minute, and they basically said everyone is. We're
Yeah.
not going to tell you who's there, but everyone's there.
Absolutely everyone is there. Well, it's interesting. They obviously all of the Space Marines are there because
Mm,
they just get out of that by just saying, yeah, that these are the ones that are definitely there, and there's about 50 of them. And
yeah,
then there are also some that we don't know about because they're doing clandestine stuff.
yeah.
The bits they haven't like, I think broader factions is like, I don't think the Necrons are there. I don't think
There's going to be a Necron. There's going to be at least one guy just there, like, oh, okay.
what am I doing here?
Skip this planet. Skip this
Yeah,
planet, guys.
yeah.
Move on to the next one.
That's what. Yeah. So I it's fine. Like I get that they want to be inclusive because it's like it's a big launch edition and da 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 da. I think it's fine. Like it
Yeah,
doesn't matter who is and isn't on Armageddon. It's just the new box set.
yeah. There's spaceships on the way. We don't know what's on them.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Yeah, yeah, indeed.
Swarms can go through walls now.
It makes sense.
Yeah,
Probably should have been the case for a long
yeah.
time.
It's so annoying. Like looking at a Nurgling, going, why can't this Nurgling go through a hole in the wall?
Yeah,
The
same
same
with the
for like
old
scarabs.
scarabs. It's like
Yeah,
they've got the fly keyword because it's like, yeah, they're supposed to be able to go over and like chittering swarms over terrain, but they're not allowed to go through it. And it's like that doesn't make any sense.
no. More teasing. Someone asked about the Lion and Gilliman meeting. They've said we don't know, but surely they will. If that's how
But
the last editions ended.
I mean that's how ninth ended, right?
Was that when that message wasn't that on this campaign where they've said Gilliman
So
said we need to talk or whatever it
but
was.
they keep saying it. So it was the because the end of ninth was when the lion woke up because that was the Arcs of Omen.
Yeah.
And then them meeting has been talked about ever since. I'm sure he said that before.
Mm.
Um, they're only going to make a meet up when the Black Library gets around to making it lore worthy.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I don't think they're in any rush to do. I don't think they need to do that yet. So I don't think they're going to be in any rush to nail down any firm lore that is in the now. Like they're very reticent to have something that is a today action, if that
Yeah.
makes sense.
Yeah, it's because of the abuse and the backlash they're going to get. Because no one's going to like it.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter what they do.
So I think they'll. It might happen, but I'm not going to hold my breath. It's fine.
No. They clarified that they made a mistake when they said Lance was changed to reroll wounds. It's not. It's going to stay as it is.
Which I quite like. I think that was fine.
They're not making Uppy Downy an official rules term.
No, but he did say if they could turn it into some sort of high Gothic, like Ascendus Descendus, then that would be quite good. And I was like, actually, I'd quite like that.
I guess the next interesting one was when someone said a game's going to be faster or slower, and they said about the same, just different parts will be faster, different parts will be slower.
Yeah, it sounds like, and this is the bit that's quite interesting. It's a lot of the admin stuff that is going to take longer at the beginning. And the reason that's going to take longer at the beginning is because you obviously won't know what you're going to be, what the tabletop should look like until you've drawn your cards and it tells you what you're playing.
Yeah.
Because you won't know until you know your detachments and stuff like that. So I don't know for a tournament organizer. So whether they're going to be like, right, actually, we're going to start whether it's going to work, and they'll be like, we're going to lock some of this down so that if you're coming to this tournament, you can only pick this, this, and this, so that they can make sure tables are ready ahead of time.
Yeah.
I think for like friendly games and stuff like that will do. I think it will take a bit longer at the beginning because you're going to have to sort it all out. But then actually some of it might not, it might be all right because it might be stuff that you just do like, just do it via Messenger or whatever, via WhatsApp, where you're just pinging each other and being like, right, this is what I'm doing. This is what I'm doing. Right. That means we've got these cards. You cool with that? Yes, I'm cool with that. Right. I'll set it up ready.
Yeah. Yeah.
Maybe. I don't know.
No.
But that, which does mean the actual playing of it is going to be, as you said, like that's going to get quicker.
Yeah.
And that's probably because it's going to be more killy.
Yeah. Once we've all learned the new rules as well, because the first game we're going to play is going to be slow.
Yeah.
But that's fine. That's to be expected. And then by the time we've just got to grind, by the time we get to London GT, and we're still like, wait, Lance is what now? That's rerolls, right?
There'll be so many updates and things that happen in between anyway. It's going to be interesting.
Yeah. What was the next one? How does healing work? That was good. Like, especially again for Necrons, it's not on wounds, it's models, they said. So you're just going to stand, if you kill like a Scorpec, you're not going to come back up with one wound, you're just going to come back by the sound of it.
Well, I think so I think take Necrons out of it slightly. I think it will be, so I think at the moment in that instance, they're referring to the character side of it, right? So, wolf priests, they'll like heal D3 wounds to pick whatever up. They'll just pick a character up.
Right, okay.
Like the Iron Priest heals D3 wounds to a Dreadnought, that will still be heals D3. So I think that's the bit that'll be interesting. I think the reanimation protocols, so that would affect the Technomancer and the Wraiths, for example. But reanimation protocols might still be X number of wounds.
Oh, okay.
Because it's not a character or model that heals, it's just an army-wide rule.
Right.
And like they do every edition, reanimation protocols changes.
Okay. So maybe I've misinterpreted it slightly then.
I think for every other unit, like every other faction, that is a pick a unit up, pick a model up, as it were. Like you get a model back.
Okay.
I think it's just how that interacts with Necrons will probably be slightly different.
Right. Okay. Only a couple more though. Indirect fire. If you
Yeah,
can't see it, it's going to be a 6.
which makes sense. I,
Yeah,
I think that makes sense.
which is fine. I think that's all to cover on that one. Granular points is coming back, but only very small scale, not like it used to be.
Yeah, it's
So you're
very
not like,
specific, very specific units, right?
yeah, you're not going to save 5 points by taking a bolt gun and turn it into a bolt pistol sort of
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah,
Um, and then the last one was changes to psychic powers. I know we spoke about it last week, but basically, if you've got the psychic keyword, it's going to mean a lot more than it used to
yes,
because you're going to ignore buffs and saves and things like that.
yeah. It does. The actual that implementation does make it quite powerful
Mm.
in that, like, again, and that's why I was talking earlier about Niall and the Grey Hunters, because you're like, right, brilliant. He's psychic. That's going to give the unit the psychic keyword. Oh, your contagion does what? No, it doesn't. Like, like,
Yeah.
like that's quite useful. What will be interesting is how that's implemented in an army like the Thousand Sons,
Mm.
where everything has the psychic keyword. So then it's like, sorry, John, your army rule was what? No,
Yeah.
not
Yeah.
against the Thousand Sons, it isn't.
Yeah.
Um, that they'll have to do something because that feels like that could be quite a tough balance to
But
get
then
right.
I
Because
think that's why mixing detachments is interesting because if the army rule doesn't work, at least you've got this that you can try and do. Obviously, it's still going to be a pain in the ass because like, as a Death Guard player, like it's going to be +1 to hit or -1 to your save. Um, it's going to be a pain in the ass if I just can't do that to you at all.
but the only thing you'd be able to do is the well, I don't know. Did the psychic thing also affect the save?
I think
I
it
can't
said
remember.
like I think it just said all like I think they were going to have to be a bit more clear because, but I'm sure they just said it just ignores modifiers.
Yeah,
But then I
because
don't know if that's with the weapons
yeah,
rather than the models itself.
I think it might. Well, I don't know. We'll probably need more clarification on it. But as I said, for all factions that have psychic characters like librarians and whatever else, like whatever the plague casters, like that makes them quite interesting at a unit by unit level. You're like, right, I'm going to run a couple of them because that's actually quite a cool rule now.
Mm,
I think if your entire army has psychic, that becomes potentially quite oppressive, especially if, and I know like Death Guard is a very specific use case, but if your entire rule is putting a modifier on me
yeah.
and I then ignore that modifier, and because I'm Thousand Sons, I ignore it on every unit I've got,
Mm.
you don't have an army rule anymore.
No, no, it was just okay. We're just going to try not to get killed. We'll
Yeah.
just, yeah, yeah. There's yeah. I'm sure it'll be
I said that
clear.
it
It
will
would be
get cleared up.
hilarious. It would be absolutely hilarious if they've gone, yeah, it's going to ignore this, and they just haven't realised Thousand Suns are a thing.
Yeah, they'll be like, oh no.
Your faction focus is going to drop. I'm like, yeah, redacted.
Yeah, no, they're too good.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Okay, Thousand Suns are getting squatted. We know we said there's no one's getting squatted, but
Yeah,
Thousand Suns are.
it's interesting because it tends to happen at the start. Well, a lot of editions, Thousand Sons are just a little bit some of because the army wide rules
Yeah,
and keywords and stuff like that. Some of the interactions are just a bit too good,
yeah,
and they're like, okay, we're going to need to change that. You're like,
yeah. Magnus is going to be 1,000 points.
but that's what they end up doing, and you just get
Yeah,
so pointed out that you're like, well, I'm not going to run them anymore. Anyway,
yeah. I
we'll
think
see
that's
what happens.
us
Yeah.
caught up, and Monday's going to be Chaos and Imperial Knights.
Ah,
The kick
very
off
good.
faction focus.
Well, Chaos will be an interesting one.
Hmm.
Chaos Knights and Imperial Knights. I
Yeah,
mean, it will be interesting to see either way. I don't know, they're quite nasty facing them. I suppose it might be interesting. How does it? I suppose one of the things to be cleared up is how it might work with allies. because I suppose for your point of view, you've got some knights.
Yeah.
Like, do you if you ally them in, do you get to take knight detachments?
Hmm.
Like, or is that one of the rules of allies?
Well,
Is you don't get detachment? I don't
because
know.
at the minute, yeah, because yeah, well, stay tuned. We'll find out. I'm sure.
Because then you could ally your knights.
Yeah.
I've just figured about it. You take those two really good ones we just looked at
Yeah.
from the Death Guard, and then for your third one, you take a nasty knight one.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I'm like, what's this? That could be pretty brutal.
Yeah. Crushing impacts all around.
Yeah, yeah,
All right.
yeah, indeed. Anyway,
Cool.
cool.
Nice. Well, we survived another week.
We did. We
Yeah.
did.
Cool.
Uh,
Right, well, thank everyone who did watch, because I'm sure I saw the chat going up and down. Or the viewers go up and down. So thank you very
yeah.
much if you watched or if you're watching in the future. But we'll see you same place, same time next week.
See you later.
Goodbye.